like when she was doing Milo's
didn't
bit,
sound
she
like
was,
a-
bro.
you
She
didn't
was.
sound like a girl,
I said
a
I
little
admire
kid.
the effort, but but
Yeah.
you're there like what's on? I'm like, bro, please. I'm there like, please, man.
If my sister falls behind on rent, can you please let me know and I'll pay up? Just don't evict her, please. Pinky promise me. Are women actually like this, or is it our misogynistic tendencies that portray them as childlike? Pinky promise.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
Why is it that a man would never pinky promise anybody who's not a child, but it's plausible for a woman to do so? Pause this video right now. Go and read Wildside by,
Elsie Silver, and when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
or you can join us anyway, because I'm going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the Aisha Library. I didn't notice if you scrolled or not there.
No, I didn't need to. But yeah,
didn't need
I
to,
forgot
fair
all
enough.
the...
Fair
My
enough.
memory is terrible.
I think you've touched on a much larger phenomenon there, and if we talk about it, we'll be here all day, you'll never get home. But it's the infantilization of women, which obviously both men and women participate in.
Well,
And it really it gets cringy at times. You look at it, you're like, why you like this?
I
child?
like it. Wait.
Cut that out. But post-production. But yeah, pinky promise in business, in a business transaction. You're talking
On
about pinky
first
promise.
meeting somebody.
Oh,
it's
come on,
like,
that's
what's going
insane.
on?
Imagine you get an interview at work. You're like, yeah, pinky promise me you're not going to hire anyone else for this position.
What did you think of the book?
It was all right. There was some stuff that really turned me off about the book.
And there was some stuff that really turned me.
No, but there's some stuff that really turned me off by the book. But I thought it was a great start.
Elsie
It was a
Silver
good start.
does the better type of romance books.
What do you mean by the better type?
I mean that it's formula, but it at least has a little bit. It has a bit of something to it, so it's a bit more interesting. I don't know why this is. I think there's different aspects to it. So, like the wrestling aspect, I like the wrestling
I
aspect
didn't like
of this.
that.
I don't know why I
like
liked
that.
it, but
I
I
didn't
did.
like
I
it.
liked it.
I don't know why you liked it anymore. And no,
I don't like. I've
Nah.
never watched wrestling, but I started to appreciate the work that goes behind.
Do you apparently what's his name? Reese was
Work
based
that goes
on
from behind. Anyway, yeah.
Reese was based on Roman Reigns. I don't know if you know who Roman Reigns is, but that's what he's supposed to look like. Like all these women are online gushing in their underwear about
I don't know who that is anyway.
Roman Reigns. Look him up after. He's like a very famous wrestler.
Oh, okay.
But anyway,
I'll go
yeah,
first,
I didn't like it.
Reese seems to be the most likable male love interest in any book. Scratch that, he isn't likable, he's just a good man. He has a kind heart. After Erica's death, Erica was Reese's tenant turned friend. After Erica's death, he honoured the vow he made to her to take on the responsibility to become the legal guardian of her 3-year-old son. He is a good man. I wouldn't do that. So Erica chose to be...
Wouldn't even look after my own son, mate.
So Erica chose Reese to be her son's legal guardian over her own family members, which included her sister Tabitha, who she was quite close with. This obviously caused quite the ruckus when it came time for Reese to collect the boy. An angry Tabitha said, "Do you actually want this, or are you just doing this because of the obligation?" It's interesting because the question is phrased as if what he wants is more important than the commitment he made. It's like Tabitha saying, if you don't want the kid, then it's perfectly reasonable for you to back out on the commitment that you made.
That's deep.
This is what I like to call indoctrination. Society needs more men who are going to do their duty, their responsibility, regardless of what they want or how they feel. Surely you want a man to go to work, even if he doesn't feel like it. If burglars break in, you want a man to defend you and the children, even if he doesn't feel like it. Surely you want a man to be sexually exclusive to you, even when he feels like cheating on you. So once again, in romance books, which is read in large part by women, subtle indoctrination is being reinforced. The idea that what you want to do is the priority. This is the scary thing is that when we read these books, we don't even notice.
Yeah, no, it sneaks in
Just,
to our brains,
it
you know.
sneaks in and reinforces the
very
idea.
Dangerous, very, very dangerous. It's interesting what you just said there. I think you made a very deep point because she's essentially saying that if he doesn't want to maintain his obligation, she should walk out on it. But, you know, if I have a child and decide I don't want to maintain my obligation to that child and walk out on it, now I'm a deadbeat father. That's bad, you know. But it's like in the heat of the moment, when some say we say what we really mean, she's essentially saying he should be a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, that's
that is
very, very
quite,
deep. And a lot of people who read these books or are influenced by these books, who take what people's character says gospel truth, you know, now I'm going to take away from this and, you know, live their life thusly.
Yeah, and they don't even mean to take from it. They
Of course not. Listen, people don't need to take from TV. They just switch it on and stare at it all day.
And consume. I would have liked for the author to have him not want to take on the kid, but still do it anyway. And then we still would have had that dynamic where Tabitha's like, you don't even want to do this. And he'd be like, but I made a commitment.
Yeah.
And then we could have...
This wouldn't be a bestseller. We'd never read a book with that. It would be a bestseller, you know. Women would be like, what's wrong with him? Sort of thing.
So
never seen a good man in their lives.
The question I wanted to ask is, did Erica make the right choice as a mother to select Reese?
Boy, I think...
Or did she make a good choice, at least, if not the right choice?
No, I think a good choice is a much easier question to answer. The right choice is tough because it's like... some would say the right choice is being with family, being with blood. So
even if you ain't got no money,
even if you ain't got no money, no food, no shoes, people will say... being with blood is what's right for you, and you know, blood is sacred, blood above all, etc., etc. Having said that, this guy's got paper in his pocket.
Yeah.
So obviously, this child is gonna have access to education, is gonna have access to, you know, food, housing,
that
water.
That might not give you the fruits.
It might not, but it can't hurt.
Yeah.
It probably could hurt actually, but who knows?
I think you got something.
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, it's your turn, isn't it?
Reese Dupree is a reclusive landlord and Erica Garrison is his new tenant. On the day she and her 1-year-old baby Milo move in, Reese encounters Tabitha, Erica's sister. Tabitha reveals to Reese that Erica struggled with an addiction to drugs in the past and makes him pinky promise that if Erica is ever struggling with rent, to call her, and if it comes down to it, she's willing to pay. The first thing, as you did, I was thinking was, why would you pinky promise a stranger you've never met?
Yeah.
The second thing I was thinking is, why would you tell your sister's landlord that she's a drug addict on day one?
Yeah, I would.
What kind of landlord wants a tenant who's addicted to drugs?
Yeah.
Are you going to tell her job also? You can tell her manager at work, oh, she's a drug addict.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah.
Like, it could never end well. Just give her a fresh start, man. People move because they want a fresh start.
Yeah.
You've ruined it on day one.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
You know, I thought that was an incredibly suspicious decision for a supposed loved one to make on your behalf. Did she even know that she did that?
I don't know. We meet Reese's nemesis, Terrence. Reese takes an instant dislike to Terrence upon meeting him. He doesn't like that Terrence is self-absorbed, annoying, and seems to be quite happy being up and close with and personal with his wife, Tabitha. He doesn't quite hear what Terrence says to Tabitha, but he hears her response. Tabitha says to Terrence, out loud in front of everybody, are you still excited and going on about that one blowjob I gave you? I couldn't hear that. You have no house training as a woman if you're saying things like this. Like, if that's her way of de-escalating a situation.
Yeah, come on, bro. It's ridiculous.
But it was at this moment I realised I was enjoying this book. I think I literally put my hand over my mouth when she said that to Terrence. I was like...
clutched your pearls.
But yeah, I guess if a book is making you feel things, then it's doing a decent job. Well, it's something we like to say. I don't know how true it is.
Yeah.
Because if a book is making you feel bored, we're not going to say...
That's true. Yeah, context is always key.
Yeah. But let me ask you a question. Let's say that you are Terrence in this situation. And you and Reese hit it off. Like, you become best of buddies, right? And then Tabitha comes up to you and says, what are you doing, sort of thing? Like, let's say you lot become best buddies, you're meeting up after work and whatever, and Tabitha comes up to you and saying, what are you doing? Like, are you trying to rub it in his face, sort of thing? And you're like, nah, like, he obviously knows me and you have history, but you obviously don't care about that. She's like, I've never told him. So what do you do in that situation? That's your boy now.
You know what? It's probably less awkward for me than it is for them.
Of course it is, but what are you gonna do? You gonna tell him not to?
Boy. I just say, oh man. I just say, oh man. Sorry about that.
Would you pretend to feel like, or would you say, listen?
Nah, I wouldn't do that.
Sit down, boy. Something for you, you the dog.
I said, "I'll me touch that first, you know. You'll never forget."
So
I loosen it up
are
for
you
you.
definitely? So are you definitely gonna tell him? What she said? She says, "No, I didn't want to tell him. I didn't. You know, would you keep?"
No,
that?
I wouldn't. No,
It doesn't matter,
it's a
right?
situation. I don't think it matters. But if that's like my friend, then I probably would, because I wouldn't want to, like, bro, I have no allegiance to this woman. So, like, look, it's...
Does your friend need to know, though? Surely it changes nothing.
Yeah, it's not even his girl as well. I mean, later on it was, but...
Wait, what do you mean it's not his girl? It's Reese's girl.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't say anything? You would
No,
keep it from him?
No, I'm saying I wouldn't keep her secret.
No, but you didn't know if she didn't say that, you wouldn't have said nothing.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So you thought... So I think she told him already.
Yeah, you would have thought she already told you. Yeah.
So that means if I thought she told him already, then basically you might as well tell him, because I thought I thought she already had.
Yes, but you thought he was cool with it. Not cool, but like it's what it is sort
so
of
then what if you tell him and he's like, what? Yeah. Nah, it's left now. I don't know. I'd say, hey, boy, listen, whatever happened, bro. We're in the
it was good.
I loosened up for you.
Oh gosh.
Would you tell him? I'll be like, listen, bro, your girl's a J-man. You need to leave that one immediately. Just looking out for you, bro.
What if he says, you said, boy, you know, one time she gave me a blowjob. And what if he said she doesn't do that to me?
I'm dead.
She said she doesn't do that sort of thing.
We're waiting till marriage. What?
Well, yeah, no, if it was me, nah, I'm not telling him. Sorry.
You wouldn't?
Nah.
So if he found out and then he said, why didn't you tell me? What would you say?
Bro, I thought she told you. Why wouldn't she tell you? That's what I'm saying. Why? Yeah. Why wouldn't? Why am I gonna come talk to you about that? Like, I thought obviously you would know about your. Don't you speak to her? How are you talking to me about you lot shit? That's turn it back on him.
No, that's gaslighting. That's actually gaslighting. That's gaslighting, man.
No, I'm not gonna
so
tell her.
You fucked his god. Now you're gaslighting. Come on, man. Nah, that's terrible. Bad form. That's bad form.
Wait. I'll go again actually, because you've got 5.
I've got 4 more now.
I don't know how much more I got. I'm not even gonna count. Wait, how much? 5. I've got 5 more.
Yeah, go one more time
then. Tabitha, in a moment, when she let her guard down, was inspecting Reese's bruises. She caught sight of his abs, and before long, one thing led to another, and they were grinding and rubbing up on each other. In another moment, they both came to their senses and agreed that it would be a terrible idea for them to get involved together, especially as they were looking to part ways for good in the next couple of days. This confused me because I thought that's exactly why they should hook up. I'm flying out of the country to never return again.
Yeah,
perfect. I don't even have to wear a condom. I can fire and forget.
Shoot up the club.
So anyway, the 2 responsible adults agree that they should keep it professional between themselves. Tabitha leaves, and Reese, well, the book reads, I immediately go to the bathroom to fist my cock to Tabitha. Why is this not seen? Why is this not seen as creepy in romance books? Is it not creepy to be wanking over your peers? Or do you think that's all above board?
Have you
and
never
he didn't do anything wrong?
Have you never seen the flirting versus harassment meme? Have you never seen that?
No.
Where it's like a half and half meme. There's a picture of one fat black guy with no shirt on, and the caption is harassment. And there's a picture of this, like, I think it's Michael B. Jordan, and it's like flirting. And they're both saying the same thing. They're like, wow, you look pretty today, sort of thing. Yeah. And it's like, depending on what this guy looks like, determines whether it's flirting or whether it's harassment. So if a woman finds out that Chris Brown was ranking over her, do you understand what I'm saying?
She thinks
100%.
Yeah, but if it's you, that's not fair, though, is it?
It's not fair, but it's the way of the world. It's the way of the world. You know?
So is that above board though? What he was doing? Is it okay?
No, of course it's not above board. That's mad. And the way he even to say it, to fist my cock. What's that? That's not what you think it is. Like, that's something else. That's something else, bro. If your girl says I want you to fist me, like what do you think that is? The time skip was totally unnecessary. I must sound like a broken record at this point, but if authors keep doing this, then I'm going to keep bringing it up.
Time skip?
Well, if you let me finish. After we meet our male and female lead, the book skips forward 2 years. Totally unnecessary. Why not just start at the 2 years? One chapter wasn't enough character development for either Reese or Tabitha anyway. So it's almost like authors enjoy having these time skips in there for the sake of them. Anyway, during the 2 years, Erica relapsed into her old ways, and after struggling to make rent, Reese booted that bitch out, leading to her dying by overdose and leaving Milo an orphan. The author has done this for 2 reasons. The first, of course, is to create a mystery that will encourage us to invest the next 12 hours of our lives into solving by reading to the end of this book. The second is to get Erica out of the way so that we only have 2 main characters. Now that Reese and Tabitha have met, her job is done anyway. I thought the author did a good job of getting us interested into their story, because I was reading it and I thought, well, this is a bit boring at first, moving into a house, I'll help her with the rent or whatever. I was reading, I wasn't interested. And then they skipped 2 years and then she was like, oh, Reese evicted her, she's dead. I was like, oh, shit! Shit! So went from 0 to
bullshit out the way.
1,000.
Yeah. I actually kind of, I wonder if people wished for a time skip. Sorry, a flashback, so that we could get to know Erica. That's what I thought. I thought it might have needed that until yeah, I thought it might have needed that, but then they did bring out the diary, which I thought we'll speak about that a bit later on. The marriage was so forced, and I don't like it. So Reese and Tabby apparently have to get married because Reese is having trouble at the border control.
Needs a green card.
I'm sorry, that doesn't scream to me, let's get married. Tabby could have easily relocated to Canada or wherever Reese lived. I think a more compelling reason was necessary if the author wanted to execute the forced marriage trope. Reese could have had a deportation scare which would have sent him to the other side of the world, and he could be taking Milo with him, at which point Tabby would beg him to get married. That brings me to Milo, this 3-year-old kid that was central to the plot. You'd think that he'd have some form of personality or even point in the story. Maybe he'd have some part to play in the plot or at least some relevance. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky, but it felt like it was so forced. The story was clearly not about Milo, and it's like the author didn't even attempt to make us believe that it was.
Yeah, no, I didn't like Milo in the story whatsoever.
Yeah.
Didn't like him in there whatsoever, and for my own personal reasons.
He seemed like he was a lot older than he was, and saying things that
whenever they put children,
because they
in these
use
books,
them to take the narrative
exactly.
along.
Whereas
like
children,
the 3-year-olds asking them about marriage and stuff
bro,
like that. Like,
I'm telling you, anyone that's ever met any children, no, they never say anything useful. So the fact that he said something useful to the plot means it's just, it takes me right out of the story, and I'm just like, bro, we know what you're doing. This is a plot device to enhance the story, move the story along. Like, when was the first time you asked like our parents about marriage?
Never.
This is a 3-year-old asking about marriage. You don't give a shit about marriage.
Exactly.
Doesn't even know what it is. I can see this is going to be another lust-filled excuse for romance. What a shame. After going to her late sister's house to pack up her things, Tabitha encounters Reese again, where she discovers that, to her great shock, Erica named Reese as Milo's legal guardian in her will. So I thought this was a brilliant stroke of genius because, again, it doubled down on Erica passing away and gave us another point of interest in the story. Despite her not wanting Milo to have anything to do with Reese, she eventually relents when she sees the attachment that they have. This could have been a compelling story point, but unfortunately all the emotions that we could be feeling in the circumstances are spoiled by the cheap lust that bleeds into all of Tabitha's dialogue, especially when describing Reese. Yeah. This goes on for chapters and chapters and chapters. For me, the main selling points of this plot was Tabitha navigating falling in love with the man that she feels is responsible for taking her sister away from her, and how conflicted this must make her feel. The author should take us on a journey with Tabitha where the impossible becomes possible and hatred that we should feel for Reese becomes love as the story progresses. From the off, however, it's clear that Tabitha just wants to shag him. It's impossible for us to feel like she really hates him, because even as they encounter with each other for the first time in 2 years, the still warm body of her deceased sister hanging over their heads, all Tabitha can talk about is how attractive she finds him.
Yeah.
So I would rather have seen us go from a situation where she absolutely hates him and see how that transforms into love over the course of the story. Yeah. And obviously this is a 12-hour book. There's plenty of time to do it in. And obviously they're bonding over this child or whatever.
What it was supposed to be.
But it was like oh, I hate you, sort of thing, which as anyone that's ever met a girl before knows, that means I'm in. Green light. Girl says she hates me, starts hitting me, I'm in. That's kind of what it seemed like to me, as opposed to actual. When women hate you, they don't talk to you.
Yeah.
When they really hate you, they don't want to exchange words with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the kind of...
It's what my missus does to me.
But she's trapped.
Yeah. But this... What the way the author executed this, it wasn't... Especially with the Milo. You know, we could have had him as a central piece of the puzzle. You know, it could have been... two adults competing for the love of a child and seeing who does Milo choose at the end, you know. It could have been that. And then, you know, they fall in love, whatever they wanted to do. Is Reese insecure? So, yep, Terrence again. The guy that once got a blowjob off Tabby, who's now Reese's wife. Reese and Tabby bump into Terrence in the supermarket. So Reese, because obviously he doesn't like the guy, decides at that moment to snog Tabitha's face off in front of Terrence to try and get him back, or at least make him jealous. Only a woman would see that as a win.
Yeah, of
She'd
course.
probably think,
That's an L.
despite my...
your lips in that thing, you know what I did to them lips?
Only a woman would see that as a win. She'd probably think, despite my past, he still loves me. Coming from a man, that is not a win. Let me get this straight. Reese's idea to get back at the guy who blasted down his wife's throat is to stick his tongue down his wife's throat.
Come on, man.
It's like
this up book, the hose. It's never a win.
It's like this book couldn't be more clearly written by a woman. It's like something you'd see from a woman. You know, she'd steal a woman's man and start kissing him in front of the ex-woman. That's a win to a woman.
Yeah.
As a man, if I was Reese, there's only one way you can come back from that. There's only one way you can come out of that situation with a W.
You gotta smash and delete.
You have to. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? You have to blast down Terrence's throat.
That's not what he's gonna say. I think he's gonna say you have to beat him up. Gotta beat something up.
Oh gosh. But yeah, if you're Terrence and you see your old...
You gotta take Terrence's new girl. That's what you gotta do. That's a win. He's taking his old girl. He said, bro, I've been done. I've been over that. What the hell? It's the old thing.
So yeah, if you're Terrence, you see your old thing getting kissed up by a current man, is that really gonna make you mad?
I'd be like, I'm in the clear. They're clearly happy.
So did Reese act in the right manner? If not, what is one supposed to do in that situation?
Well, in that situation, I think the mature thing is to not feel like pressure to show their ex that they're missing out on something. If they missed out, they missed out. Let them miss out. You'd never, if you won the lottery, you would never go around trying to convince somebody that I won the lottery. You didn't. If they don't feel that way,
That's
they don't
what a
feel
Ferrari
that way.
is.
Well, maybe you bought a Ferrari because you want a Ferrari, but some people look at buying a Ferrari as insecure. This is another word that people like to misuse all the time. You know, buying flashy things to make other people feel like you've got a good life when you don't really. A mature response would be, if I've got something great, more power to me. If you feel like it's not something great, more power to you. You don't have to. It's not yours. It's mine. So that's what a really mature response would be. You see him in the supermarket, you don't say nothing to him. You carry on with your shopping. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, but even ignoring him is insecure, surely.
Listen, maybe, and maybe, you know, if you see him, not spud him, little, you know, little sort of thing. But it's like, I'm never gonna, like, waste any energy trying to convince my girl's ex, for example, I've got her and you, like, bro, I don't think about you. What the hell? Yeah. What kind of, you know, mature adult would I be if I'm thinking about next man? Am I really winning?
I got 2 left. How many you got?
I've got 2 left as well. There you go. So Reese and Tabitha get married. Does anybody else feel like this was rushed? What is the point of giving us a 2-year time skip to make things more gradual and believable if our characters are just going to get married inside the next 20 minutes? What is the appeal with romance enjoyers about having characters take years to develop feelings for one another and then getting married at the drop of a hat? And where is the investment for me, the reader? Am I supposed to read on to find out if Reese and Tabitha end up together? They're already married and consumed by lust for one another. I know they're going to end up together. And at this point, I have serious doubts about this book's ability to surprise me. So obviously that last statement was wrong because the wrestler thing will still come in, which did surprise me. But what I thought was interesting is, This is another thing that you always see in these romance books that are written by women. The marriage comes so quickly, straight away. They want to wife these hoes up immediately. And it's like that, it seems to be the fantasy. Which, listen, if that's your fantasy, more power to you. But it's like, from the male perspective, it's like, we want to delay that shit as long as possible, you know? We're always talking about...
Sample the goods first.
Listen, we're always talking, like, women like to talk about, you know, oh, if he knows you're the one for him, he'll marry you straight away, which is obviously their perspective. It's no more valid than my perspective, but it is without a doubt the female's perspective. You never hear men saying that shit. Oh, if you know, you'll marry her immediately. You hear what Ronaldo said? Ronaldo's had like 3 children by his woman. He said, when they're going to get married, he said, when we get that click. And that could be never.
Still deciding.
That could be never.
One thing that I will say about this book, it took me at least halfway through the book to realize there was no plot, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
because
I know.
You know, this book had no plot, but it didn't necessarily feel. You maybe you disagree, but I didn't feel like the book dragged on or anything like that. It was moving. You know, I never felt
what you're
bored.
saying is, if it was poorly written, you would have realized sooner that it had no plot.
Yeah, and I would have been bored throughout, right. And I didn't find it boring.
So it's a testament to the skill of the author that she stopped you from finding out.
5 stars! Was that a bit much over the top? Oh, you can't say 5 stars. You got, do you know what I mean? You got to say it with Jim.
Say it like you mean it.
Yeah. Erica's journal was a good idea. It gave us the insight into her life I felt we needed. It was the clever way of giving us a flashback. We knew when it was. Yeah, so anyway, Tabitha, with a complete disregard to her dead sister's privacy, reads her journal, where she finds out that Reese did not in fact evict her sister. She only accused him of doing so for the whole book. So for some reason, Reese doesn't put Tabby straight when she accuses him of evicting her sister. So obviously, Tabitha continuously hates him for that. So upon finding out about this revelatory information, she feels awful. Tabby says to Reese, I was mean to you and you didn't deserve it. I disagree. He literally did deserve all the verbal abuse. He decided to put himself in that position. He very easily could have said in the beginning of the book, I didn't break my pinky promise. But you know, that's classic 101 manipulation tactics, you know. The idea is to invoke a strong feeling of emotion in a person and to build some form of connection. So what they say in these manipulation books that I haven't read, they say you withhold certain information and you tell them at the right time because it gives them a powerful effect. So
it's the greatest leverage to me.
I'll give you an example. So let's say you're gay. Actually, no. Let's say you're a mechanic.
Yeah. Okay.
Or cars are your hobby. And I get you talking about yourself and your hobby. And then after an amount of time, it could be an hour, it could be a couple of days, I break the news to you that I'm also a mechanic, or I also collect cars, or something like that, a car collection, or I've got a massive car collection. You're going to say, why didn't you tell me before? And I say, oh, you know, I was enjoying hearing you talking about you, or something like it was really moving me. So it's just classic 101 manipulation tactics, and he basically did the same thing. She's like, why didn't you tell me straight away? And he's like, oh, you know, you needed an out, or you needed to hate someone, and I was that person for you. Wow. So it's just manipulation, basically, which is what these women like. They seem to like anyway.
They think they don't, which is interesting. Or they, you know, nobody likes to know that they're being manipulated, but we all like feeling.
Yeah,
if the other person's getting away with it.
Let's say, imagine I had the same birthday as you. You told me your birthday, and I said, oh, what are you doing for your birthday? And you finally bring the conversation back to me, and I say, well, funnily enough, I got the same birthday as you. You're like, really?
Delight.
Why didn't you tell me straight away?
And delight's magnified. Just because you waited just a little bit of time, which is really funny. Why are humans like that? That's really strange. But yeah, people love being lied to. They just don't like learning that they've been lied to. So if they could just keep that going forever, you know, like, nobody likes drinking, but everyone likes being drunk. I wouldn't read this book again. For all the glowing praise that it and its author has received online, I found it to be formula and even worse, boring. As with many romance books, there are far too many characters and nowhere near enough things happening. There's Bash, Reese's best man and a member of the local bowling team. There's Rosie, Tabitha's maid of honor. Skylar, her pop star friend. Terrence, her ex. Paul and Lisa, her parents. And the cat that she decides to adopt. In between trying to give all these characters meaning and purpose, the author throws in a jumble of random scenes and plot points, from our characters go bowling to Reese out of the blue turning out to be a professional wrestler with the stage name Wildside. Sprinkle in a bunch of sex scenes and that's your book.
Yeah. Well, you do know some of those characters were a nod to the other books.
Yeah.
You know,
Which I figured out after I wrote this, to be honest,
Wes.
because I always read the reviews after I've
So you
read a
didn't
book.
remember Skylar
No.
from the other book?
No.
You know, the one who
Wild
Winnie
Eyes.
the Pooh.
Was it Wild Eyes? Yeah.
Well,
I
they trying to
didn't remember.
pet the Winnie the Pooh. Or whatever.
Bro. Maybe that's why I'm biased against her, because I didn't like the last one that we did.
I like the last one.
Of course you did. But yeah, when in doubt, stay away from having 3-year-olds with their own dialogue in books. It's not a good idea. If you're gonna, like, the rules of, I always say this, the rules of literature and cinema are different. You can have a 3-year-old actor or even a 5-year-old actor playing a 3-year-old. Cool. That's believable. But if you're gonna have a 3-year-old character in a book with their own dialogue, and let me be honest, the narrator for Tabitha's scenes, which funny enough was the same, I listened to it. Was
the whole book?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was funny enough the same narrator that played, what's her name from Leather and Luck. It was the same woman, but
Oh yeah, they see something.
yeah, she does a bunch.
Did you know that, or did you just recognize the voice?
No, I knew it. I didn't recognize the voice, but you know, you hear it after.
Did you listen on my account or your account?
No, listen on mine.
Oh, okay.
I listen on my phone. I haven't got yours on my phone. It's only on your laptop. But what was I saying?
The narrator is the same.
Yeah, she was like when she was doing Milo's
didn't
bit,
sound
she
like
was,
a-
bro.
it
She
didn't
was.
sound like a girl-
I said
a
I
little
admire
kid.
the effort, but but
Yeah.
you're there like what the? I'm like, bro, please. I'm there like, please, man, please. When's this over? Let this be over, please.
Yeah, it's like,
Let this be over, man.
what's the solution?
Don't have the. Don't like. Why couldn't Erica have left? You know, a piece of antique jewelry to what's his name, or left him something for some other reason. Like it didn't need to be leaving her only child to him. It could have been something else that Tabitha also cared about. It could have been like something left down from their parents, and the mystery could have been why did she leave it to him, sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess.
An animate object much easier to work with, you know. Out here, to like, what the? Like, bro, I was on the bus on the way to work, creasing, you know.
Oh gosh. This is my last one. You got one more?
Nah, I just did mine.
What is this creepy daddy-daughter thing that I keep seeing in books where the woman gets undressed by the man and helped into her pajamas because she's incapable of helping herself? This is something that consistently happens in these romance books. This dynamic plays into a protector daddy dom fantasy where the woman is rendered helpless either emotionally, mentally or physically, and the man steps in to save her. He feeds her, dresses her, bathes her, and yes, sometimes strips her while she's incoherent or grieving. Reese finds Tabby curled up and distraught after she finds and reads her late sister's journal. So after they sit in the shower, fully clothed, with the water just running down their faces, which is obviously what one does when they're depressed. I mean, you see it in movies all the time.
I was about to say TV taught me that.
Yeah, it's what you do, right?
That's why people think, oh, I'm not depressed. I'm not. You know, I do like these.
So anyway, Reese carries her out the shower and proceeds to strip off her wet clothes while he fantasizes about her body in her moment of weakness.
He should have fisted his cock.
No, I think he did after. Notice the author could have chosen for Tabby to be drunk and incoherent after reading the journal, which would fit the story perfectly, but that wouldn't fit the kink, would it? So I've got two questions. If Tabby is grieving, is she in a state to consent to being undressed by somebody fantasizing about her body? And two, why are you not asking yourself question one before you start flicking your bean to this scene?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is something that we've seen in lots of romance books. The women getting bathed, you know. I think we saw it in a vampire book. He was bathing her.
Yeah, we did.
Because she couldn't help herself for whatever reason and whatnot. It's just like, what
Wasn't there like a literal rape scene in A Court of Thorns and Roses where there was like there's a ritual where Tamlin like has to rape, they have to lock her up or he's gonna rape her or something like that. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
This is what you not get off to. You're sick. But it's the infantilization of women, you know. Damsels in distress who can't help themselves. This sick daddy-daughter thing, as you said. Ladies, check yourselves, please.
I think it's a perfect time to end.
And we should end with our quote of the day.
Go on, dude.
Quote of the day. One day, I'm going to make the onions cry.
Okay. I'm just gonna leave it with you because that would. I could beat you so easily if I had a quote.
You could what?
I could beat you so easily.
It's only through your own failure that you did not.
Yeah,
So
all
you have
right,
a quote
cool.
or not?
No, I don't have a quote.
Okay,
I thought I had some written down, but I can't find them. Wait.
Oh.
No, I think I've got. I'll just say it.
Go on.
Quote of the day. They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but sometimes it just leaves you broken. And on that note, till next time.
Till next time.